Hey guys, today I'm going to be having one of those conversations, but this time I'm going to do it in one person, my friend Yvonne. Whenever we get together, we just happen to always have some really cool conversations. So we figured, instead of putting a restriction to it and say this is what we want to talk about, let's just gist as we usually would do. So stay, if you're curious enough to stay, trust me, it's going to be worth your time. I promise it's going to be a really interesting and inspiring conversation. So stay with me, guys.
When I started my Medium blog in 2017, that moment was I had just gotten out of a very short and stupid relationship. It wasn't that short, maybe 5 months, but it was a very definitive relationship for me because it taught me a lot, and it felt like it was that one relationship that needed me to open my eyes to the fact that I needed to put in more effort into becoming the woman I wanted to become. I wanted to create that version of what I wanted. I needed to mold her. So as opposed to what I had been doing before that relationship, I had just been trying to find myself, to find this woman inside of me. But I wasn't putting in any effort to create what I wanted. So that's the misconception about finding yourself. So you think that there is a lost person inside of you somewhere that you're trying to find. Most of the time, people are just trying to find probably what they're very good at, what their talent is, not necessarily themselves. So I just don't know that there is a lost person that you're trying to find.
So for you, it's more of becoming,
yes,
right?
It's more of becoming.
I'm me anyway, but at different stages of my life, I know that there are different images I want to be, or different ideas of who I'm supposed to be.
And it's also more of just consciously creating that person, constantly creating that image you want to see. So I called it self-creation. And the very first phase of that self-creation for me was, what was that again? Realizing that I had been abusing myself. So that's that was, go read my Medium post. So the first post I had on Medium was, I was done abusing myself and hurting myself or something like that. I'm trying to bring up that particular story. I was literally done. So I think I wrote about what finding light was for me, and getting to that point where I realized that, I have been in this abusive relationship with myself. And an abusive relationship with yourself is very simple. It's you not making yourself priority. So I was in a relationship that was not good for me, and I felt really guilty for leaving. How can you feel guilty for leaving what wasn't serving you? That's self-abuse. And many of the time, we don't even know we're doing that. That was the first phase of self-creation for me. And I felt I need to document this. Because I also looked back at where I was coming from and looked at my journey in front of me and realized, I've done a good job in self-creation to where I am right now. I have time and time over remolded my image online, not even just online, like me as my real self. Like, it's crazy. People who have followed me offline and online have seen my progression, and it was all very deliberate. It was calculated. Sometimes it was okay, this just happened, but then what am I going to take out of it? I suddenly got a job opportunity as this. What does it mean for me? I'm in this job and I'm learning different kinds of skills that I didn't even think I was going to learn. What does it mean for me in my career? So, at every point in time that things were happening to me, I was able to bring things together and decide, okay, this is the image of myself that I want to create now. This is the person I want to become now.
I used to see finding myself in a slightly different way, right? I totally agree that you become, because did you go missing in the first place? Right? I believe that you become, but I also use that word finding yourself a lot, because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of adults are just living, but they don't really know who they are. So finding you is not like you're lost. It, like metaphorically, it is that you're lost because you don't know who you really are or who you really want to become, right? So sometimes you need to take a step back and do some really deep introspection and say, okay, who am I? What do I want? And that really happened for me a lot. Last year. Last year was my year of discovery. I titled this year my year of self-exploration because I felt like I discovered myself a lot last year. So this year I just want to do all the things that I figured that this is it I want to. But last year was just self-discovery. And one of the things that I went through was, just going to different levels of self-awareness. And so at one point, this is the things that I like. But then asking myself more questions. I can even find out, why do I like these things?
Can I eat?
Yes, no.
Okay.
I want to eat your food before. Okay. But yes,
Just don't ask me any question when food is in my mouth.
I can't promise.
Well, I'm not gonna answer until I'm done chewing.
Okay.
Is that okay?
So I think it was just really asking myself those deeper questions and saying, okay, I know things about my taste on the surface. But I don't know if I've ever sat down to ask myself, why do you even like this thing? Right? What's really behind it? Why are you doing what you're doing right now? So you like to teach, but like, is there something deeper in it? And I also started to question my choices. I made some good choices, some bad choices in the past, and I wanted to just get to a point where I sort of had full grasp of why I made those choices. Because at times when we're faced with situations, and we just do, and then we move on. But we don't get to go back and say, okay, at that point, what were you thinking about? Because I felt if I could ask myself those questions and provide answers going forward, I would make better decisions or make better choices. Or I'll be more in tune with myself, because when I'm doing something, I now know that this is why I'm doing it. Some of them were bad. Like, I was asking myself questions like, what are your vices? And why is this actually a vice? Because I don't want to just be, oh, yes, I have some vices, I have some bad habits. But I was really asking, why is it hard for you to break out of this thing? So that's why I still like to say, okay, you can find yourself, because you can ask some deep questions and really just go in depth and say, okay, why am I this person, why that person? Because I believe in becoming, you have to first of all go to the past. That's how I believe, because our past is such it's a significant part of who we are, a significant part of our future. So I believe that our past is a significant part of our future. Your past doesn't need to determine you, but it definitely influences our being. And until you're able to go to your past, the things that you had control over, the things that you didn't have control over, and analyze those situations and accept the ones you need to accept and forgive the ones that you need to forgive, you might never be able to really move forward. Because whether we accept it or not, who we've been will always affect who we are. I believe that as adults, whether we know it or not, some things that we experience as children, things that happen in our family background, our educational background, they have a large impact on who we are. So most of us will just end up existing if we never go through that journey of finding before you now say, okay, this is who I want to be, and then I'm becoming. So I felt like, okay, so I moved through that process of, I kind of know who I am. There's different layers that you go through, different levels of awareness. I kind of know who I am now, and I'm now in process of becoming, self-creating, and say, you know what, this is who I want to be. This is the image I want to project, and not because I want to brand, but because this is truly and sincerely the person I want to be. This is how I want people to feel when they come across to me. This is the message I want them to just say, oh, I know peace, and this is how you think about her. Not because she's trying to be something, but because she is. Do you get?
I totally get you. I totally get your point. And I think one thing I just want to add is that it is a process.
Yeah.
Like, even up until now, there are so many things that I do that I realize, oh, I think this is where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So there isn't that one time that you sit down and say, I am going to find myself within this month.
Yeah.
And you are able to unpack everything. It's at every step.
Something you say, I'm deciding to do this, and I choose to do it every single day.
Exactly. So it's like coming into that consciousness, which is like self-awareness.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is important before self-creation can happen.
Perfect. Like,
It's like
I want to say anything else.
Yeah,
I totally
you
agree.
need to be self-aware, and it's a daily thing. Every day you wake up, you are choosing you. And choosing you is not just all of the self-love, self-care thing you see on social media. Choosing you is just saying that I will consciously analyze what
And just
I'm
be
doing,
in tune with myself.
be in tune with myself, my spirit, learn about what has happened in my past and how it's influencing, affecting what I'm doing at the moment. One of the titles that went unpublished is To Love, to Hold, to Release, something about neediness. I'm sorry, I mean, I did not even memorize my own titles, but that is...
And then while you look for it, let me just quickly say something.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really helped me last year in knowing myself was I wanted to know how I was feeling. So I realized, that thing about what makes you happy. I wanted to sort of find the things that made me happy. I wanted to know if what I was doing at that point brought me joy. So there's this thing that I still do it, but not as much as last year. Maybe I should keep doing it more now. But it was this thing where at every point in time, I just asked myself, how am I feeling? I realized that whenever I was doing something I loved, or was with somebody that I love, there's this light in my chest. Stop it. There's only this. There's just this light. I don't know how I should explain it, but and it's funny every time I try to explain somebody. I always do this unconsciously, but I always feel like there was this light in my chest when I'm doing something I love or with somebody I love. So it was one of the things that made me become more self-aware. So when I'm in a situation and I'm trying, like, how are you feeling? How do you feel about this, or how do you feel about this person? I just ask myself, okay, is there that light there or not? Stop it.
No, I mean, I like the light thing.
No, I mean, it's like I don't know how to explain it, but I usually just feel like
totally fine.
Like there's just this
Don't
really
ask me a
like.
question.
So I mean, so it really helped me because I realized that our feelings is a very key indicator to what's happening in our lives. I mean, you can't ignore your feelings. The feelings, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's so indicator, but it's a very strong indicator. I mean, and so you need to really pay attention to how you feel, or how somebody's making you feel, how a situation is making you feel. And that's how I knew I like to train. Because every time I train, this is light. I'm like,
oh my God.
Stop it.
That's the cutest thing I've heard today. You have no clue. I need to find that thing that gives me that light. Things then.
You probably have it already. The difference is you're probably not just searching for it or not in tune that there's something. I mean, when you're with Bay, just think about it. How do I feel? That same feeling, you probably feel it for the same thing even at work. But I just realized one day that, hey, my feelings really affect my decisions and will affect my life. So if I'm more in tune with how I feel, I'll be more self-aware. So that every time I was always questioning, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And it really, really helped.
Feeling light or darkness?
To get darkness, let me run away. But
Okay.
So did you find the title?
Yes, I did.
Or you got carried away with Yam?
No, I didn't.
Food is getting
So I
cold.
found the title.
Yeah.
The title is To Have, to Feel, to Release, My Struggle with Neediness. I think at a point I realized that we all have a level of neediness.
Yeah.
But it varies, and it varies based on every situation that we're in. It's not entirely fair to tell someone that they're being needy. No, because we're all needy. It depends on, thank you so much. It depends on what the situation is. Yeah. It depends on what the level of neediness that is. And it really does depend on how who the other person in the picture is. True. I'm telling you. So I used to be so insecure about being called needy. Okay. Yeah, I used to be so insecure about that. And so I remember during my whole journey to self-creation, when it started, when it was still burning hot and all that.
Go say bonus.
Man, but I know that one thing I told myself was, I'm gonna stop being needy. Like I used to have people I was dating constantly telling me, you're being needy. And I'm like, how am I being needy if I am just asking for
What I
stuff
deserve.
I believe that I should have?
Yeah.
So I didn't, of course I looked back and I saw certain faults, that I had. But at the same time, I just realized that being needy is not a negative thing. It just depends on the situation. It depends on what level, the level of neediness, the situation, the person involved. And to be honest, that's pretty much what that article talked about, how I came over that insecurity. And to be very frank, it wasn't just a one-time thing. It wasn't just a one-period phase thing. It's something that's constantly happening for me. I'm constantly analyzing the situation I'm in, even with my current partner. And then even sometimes in my current relationship, I still feel like I'm being needy. It's there. He's never gonna say it to me, but
you feel like?
Yeah, sometimes I still feel so. That my struggle with neediness, it's still like a very present thing. But the thing is, I am way past that period of being so insecure about it, being so afraid that, oh my God, they're gonna say I'm needy, and that's it. No, everybody is needy. Everybody needs something. You're needy because you want to eat food. You need food. Everybody is actually needy.
So as long as it's not unhealthy
Exactly.
and you're projecting it to the right people
Exactly.
that kind of deserve it from, it's okay. It's
And
okay to want
It's
attention.
okay to want attention. It's okay to want the things you want. It's fine. And there was a breakthrough I experienced recently, this year actually. So I got a bit confused I read a book that dealt with how to be alone. And I was like, hey, God, am I even supposed to be in a relationship? If you read that book and you're not very sure of yourself, you'll break up with whomever you're dating. I am so serious. Like, the book kind of just makes you feel like relationships are a waste of time. Like, you are everything you want. The best relationship is being in one with yourself. And if you're just not self-aware enough, you are not going to get what that book is trying to say. So I think one thing I understood was that even in relationships, you have to know how to be self-reliant in a healthy way. Don't let it make you believe that you don't need your partner to do certain things. Do you get? Your partner is there for a reason. That's why they're your partner. That's why they're in the relationship with you. There are certain things you're definitely going to want from them. You can ask. Don't ever assume that they know. Always ask, always communicate.
Nobody's a mind reader.
Exactly. So, when I was trying to just balance the moments I was being needy and I was recognizing it, I always remembered, Yvonne, remember that at every point in your relationship, you have to understand when to be alone. And being alone is a mental space thing. A mental space thing that lets you remember that you can get through it as a person, as a whole being, independent of your partner. You can get through it. Because you need to build yourself to that point where they can even rely on you when they're not giving you 100 or when they're not fully 100. So that's what it means to be alone, even in a relationship. And that's what I feel that book should have probably said. So it's not just about not wanting to spend time with your partner or not needing them for anything. It's just being an individual. Being an individual, being a strong, self-sufficient and self-reliant individual.
I read a book, I can't remember the name. I think it's Myths of Singleness by Miles Monroe.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the correct title. But it was when I read that book that I totally understand what it meant to be whole and still be in a relationship. Like a lot of people are looking for a partner to complete them. But what Miles was saying, you have to be a complete human being for your relationships to work. For your relationship to work, you have to be a complete human being. You have to be yourself. You have to find you, become you. You have to know that you're an individual and you can stand on your own. Only then can you actually have a healthy relationship. When two whole people come together, then that's great. But if two, I don't know how baked people come, it's going to just be a high level of codependency. And codependency is terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's
I
very
mean, so I mean, what
terrible.
you're saying now is just so profound. But let me deviate a bit.
Okay.
So I saw your post yesterday.
What was my post yesterday?
Stay in power.
Stay in power.
And I was like, picking one get sense. I mean, so let me give you guys the background.
Okay.
Yvonne was simply saying in that post that staying power is a bit different. It's different from consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is like doing over and over again. Staying power is the will that I'm going to be there, right? I'm going to show up. And I was like, damn. It was. I was really like, damn.
The funny thing is, there's this young lady, she's currently in Barcelona. I think she's doing her master's, and we've been talking for like the past few days, and we've been sharing. And I can give you the background of that post. I remember that I told her that I had been feeling really anxious lately, but I had a lot of work to do yesterday. I could not afford to allow my anxiety drag down the work, So I told her that, she asked me what I was going to do. I thought I was going to go to the office to get some work done. I told her that was one thing I was just very proud of myself about, and it's the fact that I show up. Yeah. And then I just started talking about consistency and staying power. And I had to beg her, please, can I post this? I know that it just, it's something I'm giving you and something you're taking in, but I feel like people just need to know. So when, you hear a lot of influencers say, consistency. I'm like, consistency is not really, it's staying power that gives you consistency. Consistency is not really that one thing that keeps you in something. You need staying power to birth consistency.
I mean, like I said, it was just really profound. I think one of the reasons why I still remember now is because I could relate. Right? Because, I mean, we do get caught up with the fact that we just have to keep doing and keep doing and keep doing. But I even realized that because, again, I was just, right? I just realized that most of the time, so I had this period last month. Yeah, right? And the only reason why I got up every day in the midst of it, why I could text you on Sunday and say, I need to talk, and then on Monday I was at work, is because I just had to do it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not consistent, that's staying power. That's me saying, regardless of how I'm feeling, I would show up, right? So it's just great, because I don't know how to explain to people that the most important thing to get the job done, to become the person that you want to be, is to show up regardless of how you feel or what situation is placed in your way. Just to show up every single day, to say, I wake up this morning, I honestly don't feel like waking. Like, I remember one time, sometime last month, where I was like, I honestly don't feel like standing up. I just want to sleep and watch movies throughout that day and not freaking do anything. But I won't. I will stand up and I'll show up and I'll go to work and I'll get the job done. So it wasn't matter about how I was feeling. I know I was down, but I was like, and so when you said stay power, I was like, so that's the word.
Yeah, that's it.
Consistently showing up, or just showing up no matter how you feel or what situations are bringing your way.
And the funny thing is, okay, so I said staying power is a result of different things. It's emotional maturity and mental strength.
And mental
It
strength.
has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with passion.
Because the times when love,
I'm telling you,
times you wake up like, I don't have love for anything. I don't have love for money. I'm there.
It has nothing to do with love and passion. And that's why some people cannot stay at their jobs. That's why some people cannot stay in a relationship. They're going to look at the 1001 things to tell you that is wrong with the relationship. When you know, so it's a real. So when I have employees who want to leave the company, for instance, maybe because the company is going through a tough time, and I'm not one to judge, but most of the time it's just no staying power, lack of staying power, especially when that tough time is probably very short and it hasn't happened before. So you find out that mental strength and emotional maturity is something you build over time.
True.
To be honest, it's something that comes with experiences. It's something that comes with experiences. I wanted to say age.
I think it also comes with just the will, the determination.
Yeah, I wanted to say age, but then I'm like, age ain't nothing but a number, really. But it comes with experiences, because you get to this, I'm at this point in my life where I'm like, I want a relationship that will work. I know I love myself enough to not stay in anything abusive. Or not stay in anything.
But you also know that you need to somehow work for it.
Because as a human being, I know my faults. And one of those faults can just be looking for a reason to bail. That's it with everything, because the world has presented us with, especially in this age of new media, we have so many options. And when you have so many options, when it looks like you have so many options, you bail at everything. You don't stay through with one thing. You have dating sites. You have, even social media is now dating sites because people are hooking up on social media. So when you know that you can easily scroll through your Instagram, see this fine boy who's been single, you bail. Because you know that it's easy for you to find the next good thing in your mind, the next good thing, really. The same with jobs. Like, there are jobs everywhere, but the era of social media has spread, like, job visibility. And you just know that, worst case scenario, 2 months. 2 months, I'll get something, whatever it is. And, now that corporates are not the only thing that pay well, I can walk into any other place with my gangster-looking attire, whatever. I'm not. Oh my God! Did you see? I'm not trendy. You look amazing. You look amazing. But yeah, so I mean, just that feeling that there are so many options. We're just constantly bailing. We're not having enough staying power. And for me, it was like I've come to this point where staying power is the one thing that's going to separate me from the crowd. It's the one thing that's going to take me ahead of the curve. It's the one thing that's going to give me the kind of relationship I want. It's the one thing that's going to... Talking about relationships, I feel like this will also apply to a job. Staying power is important because conscious time being put into a relationship is an investment. And like every other investment, you get the rewards as, the longer it takes, the more rewards you reap. Conscious time. Why I say conscious time? Because some people have dated 5 years, but they're not really dating. Yeah. So conscious time being put into a relationship is like an investment. So your conscious time means that you are present in that relationship 24/7. You're present in that relationship every second. You're present in being in that relationship, seeing through it with your partner, understanding that, we want to see this through to the end. And that conscious time you're putting in is an investment, because over time, you're actually going to see yourself really getting entangled in someone else's life. And it produces a very beautiful result, because then you found your life partner. Because, that's why I still don't get it when people say they're married to someone or they're dating someone and they start talking to someone that they haven't spent sufficient time with and suddenly feel like they are in love, and that is enough reason to leave what they have built over time with someone. Do you get me? So I
that's
totally, I totally don't. But so I don't know if I should liken that to a job.
You could liken conscious time into anything. Mm-hmm. If you're present somewhere and you give it your all, there's always going to be a reward. Mm-hmm. One of the things I know about a 9 to 5 is if you stay in a 9 to 5.
Just talk for a long time, because I want to finish this food.
That's too much pressure. But one of the things I know about 9 to 5 is that if you stay there and you give it your all, you will reap. You might not reap in terms of money, because they might never pay you enough, but you reap in terms of who you become, the skills you learn, the experience you get. So when some people go to their jobs and they're just lackadaisical, I'm like, your mind, or you're doing it and you think it's affecting your company, but in the long run it affects you too. Because if you can't learn to be disciplined, to be passionate, to be innovative, to give it your all in a place where you even feel like you're not getting as much money as you can, even when you start doing your own, at some point you'll become that lackadaisical. Plus, there's karma in one way or the other. You probably employ people too, and you would want them to give you your all. So why are you not giving somebody else your all? So when you say conscious time, I'm thinking about in terms of just being deliberate and being intentional in everything that you do, and say, I mean, I don't know how long I will spend here. I don't even know if this thing will work out at the end. But at this moment that I can do it right now, I would give it 100% because I would reap. Maybe not financially, maybe not spiritually, maybe not emotionally, but you always reap in who you become. That's where experience really comes in. Experience is not just memories. Experience is the lessons I learned from those things, the person I became as a result of the choices I made or my reaction to those things. That's the thing, that's the events that you eventually reap from at the end of the day. So I think that totally applies everywhere. And then when you were saying, one of the key things that helps you stay in power is experience. I was like, yeah, but I think it's also determination. Because I don't know if I have a lot of experience in terms of, well, I don't know if I have a lot of experience, but I know that one thing I do have is determination, the drive. Like, the drive, I have it. It's plenty. So when I have moments like that, when I'm anxious or when I feel like I'm depressed or something, the one thing that gets me every day to stand up is you have an endpoint, you have a vision. There's
So
a
remember
place
I
you want to
said
get
emotional
to.
maturity and mental strength. Determination improves mental strength.
It does.
Experience improves
Emotional
maturity.
You have sense, chop no. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, so that's totally it.
So I think, where am I now with my Medium blog? I'm still writing. I'm still writing about stuff. Literally, I'm pouring myself out there. Yeah, trying to be. Thank you so much. I'm trying to be as open as I can about experiences that I know that can help people, because people are going to imagine if I have that for like 5 years, people are going to see the person I've become. They're on this journey with me, and I think everybody should be able to do something like that. You don't have to have a Medium blog where you're sharing
but sharing
that,
is really great.
just knowing that I'm documenting my self-creation journey, super important.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sharing is great. I mean, I think sharing does two things. One, for you, when you look back at it a couple of months, a couple of years' time, it gives you an idea of where you were at, right? So you can easily see the journey in like tangibles, because you wrote something down or you made a video or something. You can see the growth like in tangibles. Another thing is that it helps other people, and that's one of the reasons why I still share. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing YouTube, not because of the 100,000 subscribers I want to have in the name of Jesus, but because there might be one person that every video is made for, that just wants to know that this thing I'm feeling or that I'm thinking, I'm not alone in it, and somebody gets it. Or maybe this word that this person just said is exactly what I needed to hear at that time, because I believe that we all need each other. I mean, nobody's feeling is isolated. We might not have experienced exactly the same thing, but probably have felt something similar, right? So if you share something and I look at it, I'm like, okay, I get it. This person gets it, and that can just be somebody else's motivation to start or to get up and to try. It's one of my friends who told me who's doing so great now, but he told me one day, he said to me, do you know that you're the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now? I was like, I didn't even know you. He was like, no. He said because when we were in university together, somehow he started hearing my name, because I was Google Students Ambassador. So he was hearing my name, and he was like, oh, this person does this thing. So he got curious from just knowing that there's this person that's doing this. He got curious and then started researching digital marketing, and now he's full-time a freelancer. He does everything. He does web design, he does content creation, writing, digital marketing. He does everything, full-time freelancer. So when he told me that, and I was like, okay, I didn't even know you then, but you heard something and found your way through this. That's a reason for me to do this thing, because I never know who is going to take a step just because Yvonne shared her story with me. And there's something that Dora said one time when I was feeling like I don't want to share anything with the world. She said sharing tells your heart and your mind that you have a lot of endurance. I don't know if I'll ever forget that thing. But she was just like, well, what I got from it was, you might not always feel like sharing. You might not always even feel like you have something worth sharing. But when you do share, it tells the self-doubt in your mind that I'm bigger than the self-doubt. That regardless of what the imposter syndrome in my head, I'll still go ahead and do it. And it builds your endurance, it builds your tolerance for it, it builds you. And then of course it will also help other people to get it. So I mean, keep writing. I guess that's the moral. We've come full circle. Started with medium and then the medium. I guess keep writing. Words are really powerful. And when you pen something down, it sometimes even just makes more sense to you. I don't know if it happens to you. Like, I write something down or I say something, I'm like, I didn't get it before, but now I just said it. I didn't get it. So yeah, so keep sharing and keep becoming the person that you want to be, and enjoying every step of the journey, choosing to be you every day, because showing up for yourself and choosing you is a choice you have to make every single day. Every single day.
That's it.
So yeah.
That's what it is. That's what
Keep doing it. Now I can finish my pasta in peace. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video to the end. If you do have any questions for myself or Yvonne, please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, just let me know what you think. If you can relate to any of the stories that we shared or lessons you've learned in our journey, please let me know. We'd totally love to read your comments. I hear what you think. Again, if you've not subscribed, let God use you.
Please subscribe.
Take the will.
Please subscribe. If you subscribe, I will probably do another video.
Just know that you put yourself into a box. You've said it here, so you have no choice. It's probably because you enjoy it. Fun fact, Yvonne hates videos, but now she wants to make another video. Thumbs up, peace. Don't worry. Thank you, Mama. Thank you guys for watching.